So this is Stonehenge. It's the first stop on our tour. Just got here. It's about a bit closer.
No, you see that other camera I have? Yeah,
It's from another side. They've propped up underneath. You can see the concrete in there. They've restored it over the years. And a lot of it is still buried. But they won't bring it out until they can do it properly. Well, this is Salisbury Cathedral, and inside we've just seen a copy. There's only 3 or 4 copies of the Magna Carta. No photography allowed, so we're outside again. Oh, we're down the port of Plymouth, and today we're going to go out for a bit of a harbour cruise and see the harbour, so we'll take some more shots from there, probably on one of these boats. It's not a bad little harbour. Marina. These are the famous Mayflower steps. Well, a group of from our bus. That's the bus up there. The famous steps, Mayflower steps.
Green paint with a red triangle on there on the pier. Now this is where the late Sir Francis Chichester landed after his famous Rose World voyage on Gypsy Montclair 16 years ago. Very small map. The other bridge is the Tamar Mill Bridge, opened in 1963 by the late Queen Mother. At the time that bridge was built, it was the longest suspension bridge in the country. It cost £3 million to build at that time. It was the first of
St Martin's Island, not far from St Ives. This is St Ives in England, right on the coast, a fishing village. Lucky to see it in such good weather, so I believe. We'll run out of water.
Yep.
Somebody's pulled the plug out.
Yeah.
Mum grew up in St Ives in Sydney, so
Not like this though.
definitely not on the water. Very different. So I don't know, they just must have liked it.
Yeah. We are now in Bath. We're up on the terrace of the baths, and down below are the baths. Water coming in. Very dirty water, apparently. Can't touch it.
So he built the
Inside the
medieval
castle
house.
in Cardiff.
It looked nothing, however, like this in the 15th century. This room, that is. The layout of the whole house has changed many, many times over the centuries, and it's a matter of conjecture, really, what was in this space. But this would have been the private quarters of the Lord of the Manor. And we know, right the way up until the 19th century, when this room was created, there were 7 bedrooms over 2 floors in this space. Bute wanted a centrepiece for his entertaining. The Great Hall, as they called it, of the day, right the way up until they created this room, was what is now the library. And when you go in there, you will see he couldn't have created this room in that space. So he ordered the removal of all the rooms were in here. They hired the ceiling.
Heading back down. Been up the top and looked out up the top. Bit of a moat around here. Heading out on the ferry over to Ireland. Beautiful day.
Within the wood, the mold is created, and that allows the blower then to fill that with quartz crystal. Second and third years here, and we have senior people who are well over 40 years in terms of service. Now, if they want to stay going, they'll take 3 years to become a master blower after that. In the production of stem glass, you have 5 different people, 4 of them contributing directly to the actual piece. The blowing of the ball, the bowl itself, the stem, and the foot. So when that is finished, a young chap there, Evan, takes the new top that's nice and smooth, that's beveled on the inside, and in a variety of olive range as well. Now,
Santa's sleigh.
That would be where they would be aiming.
People go over there and kiss this stone, Blarney Stone.
Andale. Oh, Dolly.
Oh,
Oh, Dolly. Oh, Dolly.
careful.
We Dolly.
Oh, we've got blankets if we're cold.
I don't know when we're here now to get you can put them back forward because you'll take there'll be a breeze from the lake. So
Yeah, They got blankets and everything.
They're spoiled.
I might go better the other way.
Oh, that one?
Yeah.
It's longer this way.
Yeah.
You tuck it in under your bum there, lady, because I don't want to get caught in the wind. Church here, then it's called St. Mary's. And this
Stop for a bit of a photo shoot. Just look out. In this Irish landscape. Another castle up in the hills. Nice spot, no wind and big cliffs. Cliffs of Moher. Mullaghmore Harbour. It's where Lord Mountbatten was blown up on a boat in 1990 something or other, she was saying. 99, I think. It's a nice spot around here.
Dublin, dare I say it, they're a happier bunch. We're a bit more uptight. But like, why do we have the problems there? I mean, where are all the issues? Like, I think maybe, do you go to Belfast? Do you do the Black Taxi Tour maybe? I mean, dear God, that's an eye-opener even for the locals. And so, like, why do we have all this tribalism here in Northern Ireland? Let me take you back 400 years. To one man called King James I, 6th of Scotland, who was determined to control Ireland, in particular because you had a war before these walls were built.
This is the Peace Bridge, which was opened in 2011. Try and bring both sides together. I don't know if it's working yet, but it's going to keep on keeping on, I think. Inside the City Hall. Lovely stained glass windows. Yeah, there's another view of the Peace Bridge across the road. We're in Northern Ireland, in a town called Derry, or Londonderry. Beautiful day today.
Like that, it's a bend.
Very
It goes like that. And this side has got that.
Nice to sit in the sun. Heading down to the Giant's Causeway. Didn't realise how tall they are. Go ahead. So we're looking at all these hexagonal rocks.
The hurling, which is a bit like the cross or hockey. The Irish dancing, which is based on music. The Gaelic sayings, the Irish flag, the Irish language, none of it here. Clark Irish, they're British. They came from Scotland 4 centuries ago. And the biggest reason we don't want to be seen as Irish is because of 3 letters, I-R-A. How many people in the group don't know the name of IRA? At the back.
What's that?
If I said Irish Republican Army, I'm not being rude, but you're much younger than the rest of us. And you probably wouldn't know. For all these folks that would have made the media consistently, no matter what end of the world they were at. Well, think of them as Catholic soldiers. Here, the group of the soldiers is called the Nation. The Irish Catholic the reason for that, approximately for the north, it's starting 500 pounds.
They make a big bonfire here and they're starting to get all the crates together and let it off. It's a huge occasion. The wall between the Protestants and the Catholics in Belfast. You were given markers, so we rode on it. It's giving you a bit of a hard time, Colin.
Oh well. Well, they're picking on me, they're giving everybody else a break.
If you Google it, it'll tell you it closed in '96. Although it closed as a jail, they were doing tours in it, they were letting you stay in it overnight because they said it was haunted. And there's a plaque on the opposite side of the street, that's for Paul Williams, that's where his house sat, roughly on the street. So there you have Jared McCulloch, there you have
This is the Catholic side.
FIAM is given, VUL is volunteer. And you weren't asked to join the IRA, you volunteered. And when you did volunteer, you were given 2 choices, death or imprisonment. So these are all IRA men, all from this area, all help on active duty. This side of the board here is civilians murdered by Royalist British forces during the course of the conflict of their freedom. They were then known as the Black and Tans. They wore a black top, tan trousers, tan top, black trousers, mixed and matched. A couple of things they like to do, they went into your home, they wrecked it. They said that they were looking for IRA men. Then what they did, they picked the eldest girl in the house and they shot her. Shoot any male here, it's 1 person. Shoot any female here, 5, 6, 7 children plus. Catholic families tended to have big families. And at that time,
This is where the Titanic was built, the port of Belfast. And they've got this big exhibition centre, but we don't have time to go in, which is a bit disappointing. This is where the Titanic was built and the Olympic. And these 2 slipways. One that way and one that way. She was slipped down there. Upstairs in the observatory of the Guinness Brewery, where you can get a free pint, which we have or are enjoying. Cheers. Cheers.
10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, 10 o'clock in the morning. Are they moving? They do that over here. They all get together, paint themselves, stay still. And people go over and put money in their container. We're in Dublin anyway. There's Trinity College over there. Like University. We're here at lunchtime, so it's very busy. Over the town hall. Do you want the map?
Very accomplished piper. And she has a little music school here in Canterbury. Climb into the tower because always in a round tower the doorway was above us. And when they had it off, then the only people who were coming here really were just pilgrims. Now it was in the 12th century that the cathedral was extended, so on front it was here where there would have been a very fine arch there. That is the 12th century section in there, the extension, sitting there. There would have been a very nice arch there. Although it's Samson's falling down, you can see there the shape there, like a chevron design.
Amazing place.
And the other thing that makes this culture peculiar is the fact that it's not pierced. Normally on a culture cross, it's the headstone here. It's normally pierced through at the time, and in this case it is. So we don't know why it is. Then we don't take any money.
Send them along.
Just what's this? Chester Cathedral. All good.
Okay, what's going to happen in a moment, Norm, is I'm going to do a personal message to your camera. And then you're going to pan the camera around the crowd and they will all wave and cheer for you. Okay?
Okay, okay.
But as they've not done this before, we need to rehearse their bit.
Okay.
So I'd now like you to pan the camera around the crowd while they all wave and cheer for Norm.
Hooray! Okay, got that.
Okay. Very good on the waving. The cheering's going to have to be a lot louder. Because as you can see, Norm is only going to cheat an old-fashioned camera with a small microphone. So nice and loud, please, but first the message, which is this. Welcome to another one of Norm's boring holiday videos.
Yay! Got it.
You like that, Norm?
Thank you very much.
Okay, where's my friend Stan? Stan? Proclamations have been made from this spot for 500 years. But this is the first time we've had a guest crier from Salem, Oregon. So give it up for Stan!
Hey! Ever leader and a handsome town crier.
Yeah.
God save the Queen!
Yay!
Ladies and gentlemen, the new town crier of Salem!
Did you get that? Okay. Finally, I have some good news for husbands.
Go.
Husbands whose wives have been spending too much of their money for too long. I have the solution. Do we have any such husband here today? Yes, sir. What's your wife's name? Liz. Lynn. Okay, Lynn. Do you want to hold her coat for her? And her bag? Okay, round of applause for Lynn.
Hooray!
Okay, Lynn. Get some feet in there, Lynn. Okay, Mike, oh, you're looking very happy. Here's the deal. The shop's closed at 5:30. I am going to release Lynn at 6 o'clock. But I get 10% of what you will save in the meantime. Is that a deal? Sounds good. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all enjoy your day in Chester. But please come back here at 6 o'clock to see Lynn being released. She won't be laughing then. May God bless you all. God save the Queen.
Liverpool now. We're going to go out and get our photo taken with the Beatles.
Mr. Pete is Queen. Who remembers Freddie Mercury? Freddie Mercury brought his band Ibex to Manchester because Freddie was a Beatle fan. He wanted to go.
Come on, baby, and I'll send it along with love from me to you. Da 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 da.
This is a cotton mill. We're going to go and visit, see what's inside.
This is the year about 1700. Young children are used to helping. Everyone worked in those days. Children were used to working. And what they're doing here is brushing the fibres, getting them straight and tidy, and just basically getting it a more user-friendly sort of material. So they would then just lift it off and roll it up around a stick like this and just get it ready for the next step of the process, which is what their sister will be doing, who's about 8, 9, 10 years old, which is the spinning. Because at the moment the cotton is very fragile. It just pulls apart until you twist it. When you add the twist, it becomes a much stronger fibre. And that's what a spinning wheel does. It adds a twist, which is very useful because then we can whip. And that's the weft that's going to go across. And I've got wool going this way, 672 warps. That's a lot of over and unders in the weaving. But because of this loom, I can do that fairly quickly. By using these pedals, I can lift every alternate warp, which creates a gap, which I pass. Literally just pass the shuttle through with my hands. It's called a hand-thrown shuttle loom. Beat it back, change the feet, so the other alternate threads are now lifted up. Push that through the gap, and I've now gone over and under 672 times. You can see it's not very quick. The same what you saw before, except I've got a lever here, which will move a hammer device in this box, which will drive the shuttle across. And that will be quicker. The shuttle is heavier. It's down to how quick I can move my feet. So a weaver, and this is more professional now, we're in a workshop, maybe there's 2 of us with 2 looms. We've invested, and we're going to produce a lot of cloth a lot quicker. Don't forget over there as well I was restricted by the width of my arms, how far I could throw it. Here I can do any width I like. So let me show you this.
Where the power of the river turns this big turbine and then powers the whole mill. Going to swap over to take the train back down. Now we're going to get a ferry out onto the lake. Couldn't get a better day.
On behalf of Windermere Lake Cruises, captain and crew, welcome you aboard the MBTL. Please listen.
Airfield. Hotel over there.
They're gorgeous. And we don't see anybody. And some of them, like the Mere, are actually a reservoir. So it's not very long before we shall be getting into Grasmere, Grasmere, the lovely Grasmere. Based. And we don't have any room to put them.
Yeah, we've got the same.
You've got the same thing, you've got the same thing, as in a way, you know, they could be, you know, kind of, in some...
Grasmere. How do they pronounce it?
Grasmere.
Grasmere.
It's a really nice drive through Vale. It's not a long drive, not a long drive. The only thing you're bound to see apart from inside coaches or tractors.
Wild man on a tractor. Another wild man on a tractor.
Gretna Green. Now we're in Glasgow. In the big cathedral here, Glasgow. One of the parks around here in Glasgow. Main square of Glasgow. People out lying on the lawn because they don't get many days like this. We're on Loch Lomond at the moment, out on a little cruise, about an hour. Very calm water, very cold apparently.
Oh no,
Scotland. Quite barren. To the snow. We stopped at a stop on the side of the road. But yeah, very dry. Usually it's Port William. We've just had lunch here.
Oh, you know what?
We're going to get on the bus. A series of locks here near Fort William.
Columba cream, St. Columba. Huh? So it's a holy drink you're having, huh? St. Columba. Columba cream.
Very nice.
On the Isle of Skye, and we've gone for a nice run this morning around the island, and we've stopped at this spot for the geography really. These formations are all natural. Formed through the Ice Age. We're up at Portree on the Isle of Skye. This is a bit of a town centre here. I'll try and do a little bit more just as we drive out of here. We've just stopped on the way out, and yeah, you can see where the snow used to be. Up there it's all molten, but when it's in winter there's plenty of snow here.
The creels, so they sink to the seabed and they put bait in them. They mark the first creel in the row with a buoy to float on the surface, and also the last creel with a buoy. They then lay them on the seabed in a line. It's called a fleet of creels, and they leave them for 24 hours.
The Scottish Highlands never stops to amaze. These castles and waterways and hills. All good. Look at the weather we're having. Unreal. Well, they've made it to Loch Ness. It's quite a cool breeze blowing actually. Culloden battlefield. Outside the castle, Blair Castle. Tuning up his pipes. This is the ballroom of Blair Castle. The only room we're allowed to take photography in. all the deer antlers and skulls all around the whole castle, down the hallways and in here as well. Quite magnificent grounds here. Pitlockery, still in Scotland. Yeah. Nice little spot. Well, we're at St Andrews, and this is the beach of St Andrews, and it's very cold. It's gone down to about 12 degrees. It's close to the 18th hole of the golf course, which is over here. Here we are. These guys have just hit off.
Made that film out here on the left hand side.
Beautiful.
He put a bit too much on it.
Making our way into Edinburgh Castle. With everybody else.
A small building to his mother's memory. That building today dates from the year of 1093 and the oldest building standing in Edinburgh today. It was built as a chapel of worship and is still used today as a chapel of worship. It is inter-denomination.
We used to do this walking backwards on this track for many years without stopping.
Fire a stone cannonball.
It was about 12 years ago they stopped us in case any of us fell.
And it's also, as you look across these battlements, that you will find the Dog Cemetery, where the mascots of the Scottish regiments are laid to rest when they're here. Right guys, we're going to make a little talk now back over between 1503 and 1513. The Great Hall where the Kings and Queens of Scotland would hold their banquets is also near the Parliament, and these days that is where they met. You'll also find inside there armaments used by the soldiers in their many wars that they fought around Scotland. There's also a very fine example of the minstrel gallery inside the building. The coat of arms in the front of the building, they are the coat of arms of James II of Scotland. In the corner of the arched doorway, that's the palace. It was built at the same time as the Great Hall, and that's where the kings and queens slept within the castle. And you'll notice above the
We're back in England now. We left Scotland this morning and we're on our way down to York, second last day, and this is, we stopped at Alwick. This is Alwick Castle, and this is where a lot of Harry Potter movies were shot, with the castle. Now we're taking a bit of a walk through the town of Alwick, trying to find a coffee shop. Just walk through that gateway there. Coming into York now. Our last afternoon. really what I expected. It's a Gothic church. Nice little alleyways around here with the shopping. A lot of history. Very old buildings. Reconstruction, refurbishing. They had a big fire here in the 1980s. Massive church. The front of it. Wouldn't expect to see it here. Something like this belonged in Rome. Our last night here in England, in the countryside, before we go back to London tomorrow. We've had a lovely dinner in this country house where the owners have made us feel very welcome. And it's very, very nice. Anne Hathaway's cottage. She was the wife of William Shakespeare. Married him when she was about 25. We are now at Stratford. Lovely flowers. Nice spot. We just had our group photo taken. We're in the street where Shakespeare was born. I think that's his house down there, which we'll get to in a minute. Here we go. Birthplace of Shakespeare. Quite a experience going through the house. Very busy. And they perform little plays here. And that's what those two ladies over there are having a rest. So you can hire these boats. The guys steering it at the back. Long narrow boats.
We're not going down there, are we?
On the Avon River. Stratford upon Avon. Stratford.